He was hitting me with a cell phone and told me that he wanted to kill me. He was choking me when the police got there.
What happens many times is victims are afraid to call attention to themselves, to the police or to immigration because of their unlawful status. And we don't want abused women afraid to report their boyfriends who are beating them or beating their children. Not only because it makes those victims unsafe, it makes their neighbors unsafe.
I was afraid to call the police because he always threatened me that he was going to turn me into immigration if I said something to police.
The U visa is a temporary non-immigrant visa. It's granted to immigrant victims of certain crimes. If it's granted, it's good for 4 years. And after having the visa for 3 years, the immigrant can actually apply for permanent resident status. The victim has to be a victim of one of the enumerated crimes in the statute. And in addition, the victim has to show that he or she was helpful to the prosecution or investigation, or could be helpful in the future. And that fact has to be certified by a certifying law enforcement agency.
Maria Gaspar's case is one of the really sad cases that I've ever had to deal with. Her ex-boyfriend had been perpetrating continuous domestic violence against her. Claudio was already in Guatemala by the time Maria gets deported. April 2009, he found her. In Guatemala, he broke into the house. He thought she was alone. And if it wasn't for her uncle walking through the door, I don't know if she would still be alive today.
He was here. He hit me again. Immigration knows that I'm in danger here, but sometimes they don't care.
In Weld County, I was instructed to submit my package to them of all my evidence, how she was a victim and why she needed the Supplement B signed. And within 24 hours, I received a response saying that the case was concluded, it's 7 years old, there's no ongoing investigation, so we're not going to sign your Supplement B. This is a situation where we have a U.S. citizen child that's separated from their mother, but also a woman that was willing to help the prosecution back in 2002. She was a victim multiple times, and she needs to be allowed to come back to the United States reunited with her son.
I don't know anything about what's going on in Guatemala. I have no idea whether this woman is being attacked by a former attacker that happened in the United States. I have to operate within the law. I don't get to operate outside the law to create a good result. A good result in this situation would clearly be that the United States of America or some other country allow this woman to immigrate legally to that country so that she could be protected from this attacker.
In Colorado, definitely different jurisdictions have different policies with regards to whether or not they'll sign U visa certifications. Well, when someone's been victimized in Weld County, we have to get a little bit more creative. We have to request the U visa certification maybe from a judge who can certify that the person was a victim and was helpful. There are also some other agencies who are allowed to sign U visa certifications as long as they have investigatory or prosecution duties. For example, the Department of Labor, the Department of Child Protective Services. Those are other agencies that can sign and do sign in Weld County U visa certifications.
I think any time that a witness is valuable to law enforcement and is in this country illegally, the U visa process can help. We always have to be careful when we give somebody money for information. We always have to be careful that we're getting credible information, and when we give somebody a benefit like a U visa, we've got to be careful that it's credible information.
The U visa is important because it serves a community policing function so that immigrant victims who might not have legal status will want to report crimes, will want to cooperate with the police in investigations and with prosecutors. And that not only helps the victim, it also helps the community as a whole. It's kind of a community safety issue because if an immigrant's been a victim and doesn't report the crime, well, that perpetrator's going to victimize someone else next.